morning, this is Chuck W30N. I'm operating as W30C, net control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club net. This radio net meets every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club repeater system, operating on 147.12 megahertz. And we're also on Echolink. If you have the Echolink app, you can connect to us when we call for stations. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Green Oak, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org, trarc.org. And we also have a Facebook page, Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club group, I think it's called. So you're welcome to go over there and take a look around too. A lot of pictures and stuff about the radio club itself. Of course, the main radio site, the main website has a lot more than that does. That's trarc.org. Okay. Radio club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month, except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blainville Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. Before opening this net for check-ins, there's emergency or priority traffic at this time. Third, please, when you check into this net, keep your call sign slowly and phonetically, and state if you have any announcements or comments for the net. Phonetically means just spell out your call sign in phonetics, like Alpha, Charlie, Bravo, Charlie, and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, let's see. Does anybody know, do we have any silent keys in the radio amateurs who recently passed away? No, I haven't heard of anything lately. Okay, that's always a good sign, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to start taking check-ins here in a moment. After all, this is information net, and we're going to be providing much information as we can on amateur radio operations. Plus, we have AR Newsline keyed up on the computer over here, which I got off the internet, and we'll play that here in a little bit. Okay, we're going to start taking some check-ins. First, I'm going to start with Echolink. Anybody on Echolink, call now.
W30C, this is Kilo Charlie 3, Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff in Irwin. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
Okay, I got Jeff, KC3, Zulu India X-Ray. Anybody else on Echolink? Okay, nothing heard. All right, now looking for any members of the Two Rivers Board of Directors wishing to check in. Call now.
W30C. W30C, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob, Elizabeth Township. Evening, Chuck. Evening to the net. No traffic.
W30C. Please recognize November 3, Juliet Hotel Bravo, portable out here in Pleasant Hills, along with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net, and I want to say thank you for everyone who participated in Field Day this weekend. It was a fantastic time, and everybody did very, very well. Thanks again.
Net control. Net control, recognize Kilo 3 Charlie Romeo Oscar John and Baldwin, and I have a comment for the Facebook address.
All right, okay, John, we'll pick up in a second. Anybody else on the board of directors? Okay, here's what I got from the board of directors so far. Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo Portable with KB3 Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa Portable, and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa Portable. And John K3CRO. John K3CRO, please go with your comment.
Rivers Amateur Radio Club has two Facebook pages. One is private and the other is public. The public one is Two Rivers ARC W3OC. And the private one, and that's mainly for members only, is Two Rivers ARC W3OC. Open parenthesis, group, close parenthesis.
John, Roger, thank you. The one for the private, what was the last part after W3OC?
Parenthesis in the word group, and then the closing parenthesis.
Okay, John, I got them both. Thank you. I didn't realize. I don't have that in my script. All right, thanks.
Copy that. Back to you. KC 3RO clear.
I hope everybody copied that on Facebook. The public one is Two Rivers ARC W3OC, and the private one is for the club members is Two Rivers ARC W3OC / I'm sorry, not slash. Parentheses words group and then close parentheses. So I think you have to be invited to that one. I think I don't think it's a major problem. You just have to let us know. I think. Okay, I'm sitting there rambling. Okay, anybody else from the board of directors on here tonight? Okay, all right, Roger. Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, Jim N3JHP, for your comments about field day. I could echo that, too. I thought it was a pretty good affair, considering all in all, it was a very good, except for the blasted rain on Saturday evening. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay. All right, I'm going to start taking some check-ins here. Anybody that's operating mobile, portal, or outside Allegheny County, call now.
W3OC. C. Kilo Bravo 3, Delta Victor Delta 8 off from Irwin, Westmoreland County. Good evening, Chuck. Everybody on the net, no further comments.
WOC. Please welcome Alpha 3 Mike Romeo, AA3MR, name is Walt. Portable Clerk Works, good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net. No comment.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy. Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima. Bruce in South Connersville, Fayette County. Late Chuck, loaded the net. No further comments.
W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra, Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3, Alpha Charlie, Antonio Portable, here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to Chuck and those on the net. I'm no traffic.
WC. Number 3, Juliet Papa, Quebec, Kurt in North Versailles. Good evening to net, no comments.
Please recognize November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. That's N3TAU, Norman Penn, Westmoreland County, Portable. Good evening, Chuck.
W3OC. OC, please copy Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Alpha Alpha KD3BAA Jeremiah Portable McKeesport.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Delta 3 Alpha Tango India KD3 ATI. Mike from Baldwin, no comments.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy Kilo Charlie 3, Whiskey Oscar X-Ray, Jason in South Park, no traffic.
Thank you, guys. Here's what I got so far. Thank you. That's W3OC. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta, Alpha 3 Mike Radio Portable, Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima, Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sugar Papa, Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Portable, November 3 Juliet Papa Quebec, November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform, Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Alpha Alpha, and Kilo Delta 3 Alpha Tango India, and Kilo Charlie 3 Whiskey Oscar Kilo. That's what I got so far. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC, this is Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar, Savvy up in O'Hara Township. Good evening, Chuck, and good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
W3OC, KB3 VSP with a recheck. I had interference, did not hear acknowledgement.
Let's see, who was that?
Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, I got you in there, Dan. Thank you. Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sugar Papa, got you. All right, thanks. Anybody else wishing to check in?
W3OC, Alpha Juliet 3, Juliet Alpha, James and Kenneth 3.
Okay. All right, I got Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar and Alpha Juliet 3 Juliet Alpha. Hello there. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? All right, now we'll open up for general check-in. Anyone else that hasn't checked in like to do so, call now.
W3OC, Whiskey Alpha 3, and the Oscar uniform with a comment in.
Net control. Net control, please recognize Whiskey 3, Sierra Hotel Foxtrot, Stephen Pitcairn. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net.
W3OC, this is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Kim and Carnegie.
3OC, please recognize Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Echo Mike, Logan and Monroeville. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, everyone on the net.
Okay, this is W3OC. Here's what I got so far. A Whiskey America 3 Andy Oscar uniform with comments. Whiskey 3 Sugar Hotel Fox. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. And Whiskey Delta 3 Bravo Echo Mexico mobile. Anybody else wishing to check in, call? All right, we'll take a stop here. Let's see, what do I got for comments? Oh, I got WA3O, you got comments. Go ahead.
Okay, all you people checking into this net, I know you got HF radios. Don't be afraid to use them on Thursday night on 28460. That's when we have the HF net, the gap net up there. Come on up and say hello. Either Bill's running it, KB3WP, or I'm running it, WA3IONU. We'd like to see more people take a interest in that net and get it going. That's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gino. WA3I uses W3OC. All right. Let's see, what else have I got to do here tonight? Oh, take another standby. Anybody on Echo Link that hasn't checked in, call now. Okay, all right. Well, let me give you a little bit of what I can tell you about. Of course, the Radio Club has all kinds of activities we do during the course of the month. But give you a brief summary from my perspective for Field Day, which just ended here, was over the weekend. we had a really good turnout, I thought, for that. It went pretty well as far as operators were concerned. We saw a lot of new people there. Got their feet wet with operating. I shouldn't say feet wet. That's not a good way to describe things. It was wet enough up there for a while. But I thought we did pretty good. I guess like everything else, you have minor hiccups and stuff. As far as I was concerned, I thought the organizers did a pretty decent job getting the whole site set up, and we had lots of help. Getting the tents and everything, and the radio antennas and radio stuff all set up, and worked pretty good, I thought. Radio conditions did kind of stink a little bit. We did have a minor geomagnetic storm happen sometime Saturday. I think it was Saturday evening. It kind of messed things up for 3 or 4 hours, I guess. A lot of stations around the U.S. were I've seen on email complaining about that, but once it straightened out, was back to making a lot of contacts. So as far as the radio club's concerned, we did okay. I think we ran 5 stations, all with generator power and in a emergency style operation setting. We had tents. We had a trailer we used for communications. It was I thought, generally pretty decent. Food was excellent. My compliments to all the folks who did the work on that. Getting the food set up, and it was very, very good. I know that. We had many people visiting us this year. Members and non-members were there too, which is a good show. We don't have the statistics on this stuff yet, but the master log, I have that here, and it looks like we made around a little over 1,100 contacts on the various modes. At least that's what I could describe it. We did also have a new operator / what they call get on the air station operational too during field day, and it was a very nice affair. I thought it was very well attended. The rain always puts a digger in that kind of activity, but that's just my opinion. All right, Okay, I guess we'll have a final report on field day probably by the next club meeting or even before that. I know I have the master log here. It needs to be scored and stuff, and that will be done here sometime soon. Okay. As far as the radio club is concerned, we have other activities we do during the course of each month. We have 3 radio nets. And this one on Monday nights. Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. we have the Two Rivers ARC GapNet. It's an informal group meets up on this repeater systems at 8:30 p.m. Steve W3 Sugar Hotel Fox is normally the moderator for that, or host as we call it. Sometimes we do substitute depending on availability. Like Gino just mentioned, the Thursday night net meets at 8 o'clock p.m. on 28460 upper sideband. The only time we don't run that is when we have operations night. That's on the second Thursday of each month, because the operations night is held at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, 4312 Liberty Way in Liberty / Elizabeth, PA. So you're welcome to come out and join us for that. We do usually do operations on the HF bands, and sometimes we have instruction going on. Sometimes it's just a get together. So you're welcome to come out there and join us for that. It's open to the public, and it's all indoors. And on Friday night, we're scheduled for a net on 40 meters around 6 o'clock p.m. That hasn't been very active lately. So I was told recently that the host over there has had some trouble with antennas and stuff, and it's one reason why we haven't been running it so much. Also, the fact that the 40-meter band at that hour of the evening at 6 o'clock is very, very busy because of the amount of stations that are on the air, and it's difficult to find a clear frequency sometimes. So a lot of times we announce this stuff here on this repeater system whenever those nets start up. So that's just some of the nets we have. Okay, SW3OC. On the second Thursday of each month, we have the operations night, 7 p.m. at the Liberty Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 4312 Liberty Way and Liberty/Elizabeth, PA. Welcome to come out there and join us for that. On the second Saturday of every month, we have a breakfast gathering for the club members, their families, and anybody else who wishes to join us. That starts at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. We use the local restaurant, the Rock Run Inn. It's called the Rock Run Inn. That's held at the Butler's Golf Course on Rock Run Road, right off of Route 48, not too far from McKeesport. So welcome to join us for that. We have other activities we do during the year. We usually participate in Winter Field Day. That's in January from the Lincoln site. The ARL Field Day, which we just had. Let's see what else we do. Yeah, I can't remember the others. The PAQSO party we've been active in the last couple of years. Again, all this stuff happens from the Lincoln site, Lincoln Fire Department site up there. So we're quite active. Plus, we have amateur radio Hamfest usually in the early spring, and a family picnic in August. A Christmas party usually in somewhere in December, which we have those kind of activities. Let's see what else. We have volunteer examiner sessions 4 times a year, and actually when we have the Hamfest, a lot of times we have an amateur radio exam session there also. For those who don't know what the exam session is, it's a place where you can take an exam to obtain an FCC license. Okay, I think that's what I kind of got with that. Okay, let's see what else. I'm just looking at the calendar here. We're into July already. Starting this week, I believe it is, the 13 Colony Special Event Stations operation should be starting up, and it's a kind of a deal where you work stations, amateur radio operators who are operating from any of the 13 original colonies, and it's very, very popular on the HF bands. And there's even several stations from outside of the U.S. that operate on that too. One is in the UK, in England, GB13COL, and the other is in France, TM13COL. But of course, the call signs of the 13 colony stations all start with the letter K2 and followed by a letter A through, I think it's A through M, I think. So very, very active on the HF bands. Okay, Hamfest-wise, July 20th is the Somerset County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Somerset County Tech Center, or VOTEC Center, 251 Technology Drive in Somerset, PA. That's a nice Hamfest to attend. It's about an hour's drive from here in Pittsburgh, I think. It's a nice Hamfest. It's indoor-outdoor. August 9th is the Uniontown Amateur Radio Club Gab Fest. That's a Hamfest held at their club grounds on Old Pittsburgh Road in Uniontown, PA. At the end of August, the 24th, Skyview Radio Society has their swap and shop at their club grounds on Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. It's on the suburbs of New Kensington. The last Hamfest schedule in this area is September 7th and sponsored by the Butler County Amateur Radio Club. They call it a Swap Fest, held at the Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. Okay, let's see what here. Okay, the North Hills Amateur Radio Club is currently conducting a raffle for the chance to win a Kenwood THD 75A handheld. It's an HT transceiver. It covers 144, 220, and 440 megahertz band. It is FM and D-Star capable. got a lot of good reviews. It's what they call a tri-bander. It comes with an extra antenna called the Diamond SRH320A. It's a extendable, not extendable. It's a lengthy antenna plus a Kenwood rapid charger. It's a nice prize to win. If you wish to get attain raffle tickets, you can attend any of the North Hills Club's activities, or you can write to them via U.S. mail to North Hills Amateur Radio Club, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA, zip code 15237. That's North Hills Amateur Radio Club, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA 15237. Okay, that's what I know of the local stuff. I know there were a lot of, I know on field day, there were quite a few of the local clubs around here on field day from various locations. I've seen some reports coming in via email that some of them were visited by the news media and stuff like that. So I think generally everybody had a pretty good showing for field day from what I could determine. All right, that's kind of what I got for this. I think. Let me take a standby. Does anybody need repeats for anything they've heard? It's W306. None heard. All right, I guess I'm doing something right tonight. I think I got everything covered. Let me switch over. Let's see what Newsline's got tonight. This is W306.
$1,487 with a release date of Friday, June 27th, 2025. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A mobile cellular service provider applies to use ham radio frequencies for its satellites. Logbook of the World goes offline for upgrades, and mystery signals are heard from the great beyond. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2487 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO. Our top story takes us this week to Washington, D.C., where the Federal Communications Commission has received a request from the 5G broadband service provider AST Space Mobile to modify its license so that it can transmit on the portion of the 70-centimeter band used by amateur radio. The Texas-based company is seeking the frequencies between 430 and 440 megahertz for telemetry, tracking, and telecommand between ground stations and its satellites. At the same time, the company is seeking FCC approval for its operation of 248 low Earth orbit, non-geostationary satellites. It is presently licensed for 5. The company's request to use the 70-centimeter band is not insignificant. In 2023, the German regulator BNetzA ordered AST Space Mobile to shut its operations when in the range of the country, citing harmful interference that violated ITU regulations. In March of 2024, the company said it had updated its constellation's filings with the ITU and the FCC. It also reduced some of its power levels and changed the heights of its orbits, according to the Advanced Television website. AST Space Mobile is a rival of SpaceX, which operates the Starlink satellite constellation, which is testing direct-to-cell with T-Mobile. Earlier this year, AT&T and AST Space Mobile received FCC permission to test direct-to-cellular satellite connectivity. Public comments are due by July 21st. For a link to the filing, see the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. The ARRL has been busy with much more than Field Day. In fact, just as Field Day gets underway,
Logbook of the World will be moving to a cloud computing platform and getting some technical upgrades. Jack Parker, W8ISH, has those details.
Just as hams were making their final preparations for ARRL Field Day here in the U.S. and in Canada, the ARRL was scheduling downtime for Logbook of the World beginning on June 27th. The ARRL called the process part of the, quote, ongoing modernization of the ARRL systems infrastructure, unquote. When completed, the system is to be fully operational on the cloud. The ARRL said the move will ensure that users are protected from physical and network-based security risks. The last major service disruption for LOTW was last year, when it was one of several ARRL services that were compromised by a ransomware attack. The ARRL announced its return to service not quite 2 months later, on July 1st. In making the announcement of this year's upgrade, CEO David Minster, NA2AA, said on the ARRL website that LOTW would return to full online operations on the 2nd of July or sooner if possible. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
The paint that BMW used 6 years ago on one of its cars as an experiment is now being looked at as a way to reduce light pollution from satellites that has been plaguing radio astronomers. Randy Sly, W4XJ, has the details.
What is blacker than black? It's the super black paint known as Vanta Black, and its creator, Surrey Nanosystems, designed it to absorb 98% of light. BMW tested it out on one of its crossover Model X6 cars just as an experiment in 2019. According to Space.com, the paint reflects only 2% of visible and infrared light. Now AMSAT UK is preparing to launch Vanta Black on its Jovian 1 CubeSat mission to test its ability to avoid interference with space telescopes. The Jovian 1 goes into space sometime next year. Attendees at this year's AMSAT UK colloquium in October can expect to learn more about this adventure in light pollution reduction. Meanwhile, if things work out, Vanta Black might provide a solution for the private satellite constellations that researchers say have been interfering with ground-based astronomical research. As more satellites are being sent into space, that's not insignificant to observatories here on the ground. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
Scientists in China are claiming that they have achieved unprecedented speed in sending data from satellites using low-powered lasers. Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, has that story.
In a development that some observers say could someday replace satellites' reliance on RF, scientists in China are claiming that they have developed a transmission method using minimal laser power. The method is known as AOMDR synergy and utilizes a 2-watt laser. Scientists at a Peking University and the Chinese Academy of Sciences have said that by employing this technique, they recently accomplished a 1 gigabit per second data transmission to Earth from a geostationary satellite. Researchers praised the development, adding that it addresses a common challenge for satellite downlinks, the distortion caused by atmospheric turbulence. The developers of the process said that AOMDR addresses this by stabilizing the laser signal even when it faces atmospheric turbulence. The technique combines adaptive optics and mode diversity reception. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Scientists on the frozen Antarctic continent got a good warm feeling listening to the shortwave radio recently. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, tells us why.
The shortwave broadcast wasn't aiming for big global listenership. Indeed, there were perhaps only a few dozen pairs of ears for whom this special program was intended. Still, the BBC's Antarctic midwinter broadcast is a shortwave tradition down under. This year, its 70th anniversary year was no different. Scientists and support staff of the British Antarctic Survey Team were tuned in on the 21st of June to hear welcoming messages from home, including a pre-recorded greeting from King Charles, the first monarch to participate in the tradition.
The show only lasted a half hour, but has been a big part of a midwinter at British research stations on the frozen continent for decades. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Here in the U.S., the Youth on the Air Americas Camp has just wrapped up in suburban Denver, Colorado. Soon, it will be France's turn to host eager young amateurs. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, has the details.
Youngsters on the Air, also known this year as YOTA France, is getting ready for its 13th edition. The camp will be taking place at the Château de Jeanville, near Paris, from the 18th to 25th of August, and is being hosted by the French National Amateur Radio Society, Réseau des Émetteurs Français, or REF. Although the camp serves primarily youngsters from throughout the IARU Region 1, guest campers will be welcomed from Regions 2 and 3. About 100 young amateurs attend these camps each year, participating as teams representing their countries. Previous YOTA summer camps have been held in such countries as Czechia, Hungary, Croatia, Bulgaria, South Africa, and Great Britain. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the CQ0URAS UHF and CQ0ERAS VHF repeaters in Portugal on Saturdays and Sundays at 12 noon local time. In Sweden, the Grimeton radio station is marking its Jubilee year in the most appropriate way possible. Can you guess how? Well, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, has some answers.
The Jubilee year for the Grimeton radio station in Sweden is well underway, having begun last December. The highest point of the year, however, will come on the 2nd of July, the exact date 100 years ago when the station's 200 kilowatt alternator sent a message across the Atlantic Ocean for receipt by the US President Calvin Coolidge. The message reached the receiving station in Riverhead, New York, on Long Island, and the President sent a reply praising the new broadcaster and sharing his hopes for good relations between Sweden and the US. The 2nd of July is nearly here, and the 100-year anniversary of that historic message is being celebrated with a telegram to be transmitted from the station using CW on 17.2 kilohertz at 0900 UTC. The station will be using the original call sign SAQ. The broadcast could be heard on a receiver with VLF capability and will also be streamed live on YouTube. Meanwhile, hams wishing to make contact with the amateur radio station SK6SAQ in CW or SSB should be listening on 8040 and 20 meters. Details are available at alexander.n.se. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Just a reminder that the popular 13 Colonies special event runs from the 1st of July through to the 8th, UTC. Certificates are available at all levels of achievement. Shortwave listeners and hunters outside the U.S. are welcome. Operators will be using all modes on all HF bands except for 60 meters. Be listening as well on 2 and 6 meters. See the link in the text version of this week's Newsline script at arnewsline.org. Being a soda activator has given one ham in Australia much more than memorable QSOs, spectacular summit views, and some outdoor adventures. It has provided him with some life-saving skills, as we hear from Jason Daniels, VK2 LAW.
As record-breaking fires consumed huge sections of the Canadian province of Alberta, Wade Smith, VK1 MIC, was preparing for an activation that would take him into the heart of the destruction. As captain of the Communications Brigade in the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, Wade responded to Canada's request by travelling from Sydney with the Australian contingent. Wade added his specialised skills in air radio and dispatch to assist the joint Australian-Albertan Incident Management Team, operating in the remote northern region of Alberta. Facing the challenge of several large fires raging, Wade and his team handled more than 500 calls daily. The firefighting effort mustered more than 20 aircraft involved in operations across several large fires. Wade, who is also the VK1 SOTA Association manager, said his years of SOTA experience have served as great practice for staying focused, handling several stations at once, and managing fast-moving communications pile-ups. He said, quote, "These same skills are directly transferable to coordinating air operations under pressure," end quote. The fires posed hazards on the ground locally as well as for the air quality in much of North America. Weather experts attribute the conditions in the region to an ongoing trend of dry, warm conditions that have been worsened by the global climate crisis. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
In the world of DX, Lawrence FM5BH will be on the air as J79BH from Dominica, IOTA number NA101, from the 25th through to the 29th of June. Listen for him on 80 through 10 meters, where he will operate CW and single sideband. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Harry, JG7PSJ, is using the call sign JD1BMH from Chichijima, IOTA number AS031. Ogasawara from the 26th of June through to the 4th of July. Harry is using CW, single sideband, and RTTY on 40 through 10 meters. See QRZ.com for details. Listen for the call sign KP4NET from VK's Island, also known as Isla Nena, IOTA number NA249. A team of operators will be on the air with that call sign on the 27th through to the 29th of June, mainly on 40, 20, and 10 meters, using single sideband and CW. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Chemo, OH3DJP is operating holiday style as OH0OH3DJP from the Åland Islands, IOTA number EU002 until the 1st of July. Chemo is on various HF bands, also listen on 6 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. It's pretty well known that some scientists study outer space in search of extraterrestrial life, but what happens when researchers believe they have instead stumbled upon the afterlife? Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us what did and didn't really happen in this week's final story.
Rest in peace, NASA Relay 2 satellite. The spacecraft was one of 2 launched at different times in the 1960s by the U.S. Space Agency to serve as experimental communications satellites. Unlike NASA's Relay 1, which transmitted American TV signals to Japan and Europe, Relay 2 was used for barely a year. It stopped operations in 1965, and its transponders were believed to have died in 1967. The key word here is believed, because 1 year ago this month, researchers in Australia were certain they'd heard Relay 2 returning radio pulses to Earth, much the same way some so-called zombie satellites, like the famous AMSAT Oscar 7, have been known to do. In this case, no seances or Ouija boards were necessary to understand this message from the great beyond. Some scientists theorize the pulses came from the discharge of electrostatic energy, or ESD, that had built up on Relay 2 over time. Another theory is that its impact with a micrometeoroid released a cloud of plasma capable of sending such a signal. Researchers plan to study both ESD and the micrometeoroid effect in the hope of a better understanding in the future. It's not about alien life or afterlife then, just breathing new life into solving more mysteries of space. This is Kent Peterson, KC0BGY.
A good QSO can be like poetry, sometimes. So why not write a haiku about amateur radio and join the Newsline Haiku Challenge? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. We can only accept the correct haiku format, though. That is, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website, where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Advanced Television, Alexanderson Association, Amateur News Daily, AMSAT, the ARRL, BBC, CBC, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, the 425 DX Bulletin, the FCC, Interesting Engineering, Live Science, MSN, New Scientist, QRZ.com, the Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, space.com, SWLing Post, Wade Smith, VK1MIC, the Wireless Institute of Australia, Yoda.com, Zero Retries Newsletter, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights reserved.
Okay, this is W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Let's see, I don't have anything more on here tonight as far as announcements are concerned. Hopefully, by the time we get the next net started up, maybe we'll have a more firm hand on the field day total scores and all that kind of good stuff. But right now, we're just in preliminary right now. Okay, at this time, we'll take some late check-ins, and also hasn't like to check in, call now. Anybody else wishing to check into the Two Rivers net? I'm going to close the net out at this hour. It sounds like we got a little bit of radio signal ducting coming in tonight. I'm hearing it here on my end. I don't believe the repeater's hearing it, but when you get these kind of things that happen here in the summertime with storms and stuff, sometimes we get what they call tropospheric ducting a little bit, and we get radio signals in the VHF band. They kind of follow the clouds until you can actually hear them. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the net out at this hour, and I showed 23 check-ins on the check-in list. Thank you all for taking the time. And again, special thanks to all the folks who came out for Field Day, either with the Two Rivers group or with other group that you happen to operate with. Hopefully many of you got a chance to do that. With that, we're going to close the net down at this hour and say 7-3, and maybe we'll catch you on Wednesday nights, GabNet here at 8:30 p.m. With that, we're going to turn the repeater back to General Massachusetts, W3OC, also known as W3ON. Good night.